Here's another video on my 2010 KTM 530 EXC. I'm in full packing mode for upcoming trip to Baja, doing some last minute upgrades, and one of those is the front light. Now anyone that has one of these bikes, one of the 525s or the 530s, even some of the 500s, knows that the headlights leave a lot to be desired. I think KTM essentially made a dirt bike and then did all the stuff they had to do to the very minimum level so that the DOT, DMV would allow it to be street legal. And that's great. They got us over that hump, but just barely. So this light is NFG, and it's also hard to upgrade. The reason is, back to what I said a second ago, these bikes don't make that much power. This particular one has an AC, DC, and ignition split stator, I guess you would call it. So it creates power for the ignition, obviously right here on the engine, and then it creates some DC, not very much, like 30 watts maybe, to charge the battery. And then it makes maybe 70, they claim maybe 100 watts for the AC headlight, and that would have been the tail light originally too, I think, don't quote me on that. Anyways, bottom line, there's not a lot of power to work with here. And if you wanted to switch to some modern, like Baja Designs, LEDs, of course, those are DC, and pulling off the battery, that works for a little while, but not if your stator can't catch up with the draw from the light. So that's where you get into regulator rectifiers that take the AC that's meant for the headlight, make it into DC for the LEDs. It all can be done, but it gets pretty complicated and it gets very expensive. So I actually found a solution I liked from a company called moto3d.au. They're in Australia. They sell a replacement that goes into the stock mask with a nice quad LED and some extra driving lights. It works within the power that's available. It's reasonably priced. Unfortunately, it got held up by the tariffs. So that plan isn't going to work for this current trip, but what is going to work is another solution which is pretty well recommended, and that's this OSRAM. Well, it's an OSRAM bulb, and the kit overall is from PMXTEC, and it includes the bulb as well as an adapter so that you can use a regular old H7 halogen bulb in the stock housing. So you can get a lot more light. You're going to have an easily replaced bulb rather than having to go with the kind of funky Euro style bulb that's in here, and it'll all work within the amount of power that's available stock. So it's basically a drop-in solution. So I'm going to install it, and then hopefully I can show off the difference as well. Okay, remove front headlight assembly and disconnect all wires from the headlight. Okay, and next we're going to remove the rubber desk guard. Remove OEM bulb by twisting counterclockwise. This thing never really kept in place very well. Anyway, so here's my stock bulb. Mine's actually already coming loose from its base. You can see how it kind of turns like that. Yeah, it's not supposed to do that, but so far it's still working. Anyways, this is a piece of junk. Hopefully as much of this goes away as possible. Clean the inside of the headlight lens if it's dusty. I will do that. Then install the new H7 bulb into the new adapter plate. Okay, so this is nice. There's little indentations in the plastic that show you how this is supposed to be oriented. So that would go just like that. Then put the washers back on, screws in, clamp it down. Here's where, it doesn't say it, but I've always heard you don't want to touch the glass on these halogen bulbs, so I'll try to do that. So of course in the process I did actually touch the surface of the bulb. That's okay. One of my go-to tools that I use in most of my projects, whether electronics or mechanical, around the shop these days is IPA, 99% IPA, not India Pale Ale, but isopropyl alcohol in a little squirter, like a lab type bottle. And it's just great for cleaning all kinds of things. It's going to evaporate quickly. It's not going to melt anything like brake parts cleaner, acetone might now and then, although I think that's kind of overstated. I use plenty of that as well. You don't have to be as careful with the isopropyl alcohol because it doesn't melt things and because it just disappears itself almost immediately. But anything that's oily, greasy, that needs to be really, really clean, give it a try. Definitely for electronic stuff, especially, it's good. So let's see. Whoa, almost dropped it. I don't know if either of these sides is special. I think they're, it's AC, so it doesn't really matter. But drop it into here, the original location, and then I think we just have to spin it. Yep, just like the original. When you're installing this adapter, hey, make sure you give it a really good twist. I hadn't gotten all the way down, and I was pleased to find out it had farther to go. If you kind of grab it like this, it really snaps in place. It is very, very secure, much better than the stock that came out of here. So just make sure that's seated all the way down. Connect one end of the new 3-inch wire, which comes with the kit, to the green wire on the OEM harness and feed it through the desk guard along with the brown wire. Connect it to either of the connectors on the back of the bulb. Basically, green and brown are the two wires that make your connections to the bulb. They give a little bit of an extension here so that you can reach in here and connect up to the stock wire. I'm going to do some cleaning. More uses for the isopropyl alcohol. The other thing I use a lot of is silicone dielectric grease. The two work well together. You know, alcohol cleans, silicone grease. It's not really a waterproofer in the sense people think it is, but it does do a good job of taking up any space where something conductive like water would get in there. And in that respect, it does insulate parts. While I'm here, I'm also going to clean out this blue one. The blue one is not used according to the instructions. I think the green versus blue is just the two sides of the switch on the handlebars. And I think I want to use whichever one is the bright side so that my bright indicator is on when lights are on. So look at this. This is the connector for the bright headlight indicator that slides up into the slot so you can see, you know, the indicator from seated position. And sure enough, it's got brown and blue wires going to it. I actually needed to change this bulb right now anyways. I roasted the old one, and so I've got a new one that I can install at the same time. These are bulb 2723, and they're marked on the bulb itself as well. Miniature lamps. I don't know where I got these, but in any case, it took me a while to figure that out. These are the bulbs that go into your bright indicator, as well as your off-screen, your turn indicator. So I'll install one of these, and I am going to connect up the blue side to this new bulb. That way, the so-called high circuit will be what turns this bulb on. It'll turn on my indicator as well. The low circuit will do nothing. I think that's what I'll have it do. Yeah, this down here is the daytime running light. TBD if I want to keep that or not. It says not to, or it says you don't have to in the instructions. It covers it right here. Bikes with daytime running light. The DRL really has no purpose in off-road riding. Yeah, what if you're on the road though? We've heard a rumor this is only because certain cities in Europe require it. That seems likely. 5 watts of draw. So if you want to save 5 watts, you can remove it from the socket and remove the whole thing from the circuit, and you get that 5 watts, which will make your headlight slightly brighter off of a stock stator. Because like I said earlier, the stator is pretty limited in the amount of energy it produces, and you get that extra 5 watts going to your main headlight that you're putting in if you take it away from the daytime running light. So that's the biggest reason I would say to remove it. So I've cleaned these connections out really well, and now I'm going to squirt just a little bit, which never happens. It's always none or a lot of this silicone dielectric grease into the slot. It's just this stuff, CRC, technician grade dielectric grease with this little dispenser that makes you think you're going to dispense a little bit, but you always get a lot bit. So that's that one. And then in the brown, we'll do the same. You know, there's really not an upper limit on this, except it just makes a mess, but you're not really going to hurt anything by putting extra in there. And if you put a little extra on, it does get driven down inside. Yep, I'm clearly into the portion of the project where I make an absolute mess. So that's the blue, that's the brown, that's my dirty finger spade side of the adapter into the blue connector. Just need to find that opening. Okay, this will fit. I had to step away so that I could press this down on the edge of my table, not crushing the wire. But you can get the spade down into this connector on the blue side. I'm actually going to keep the daytime running light for now. I can always pull it out. But even if I pulled it out, I would still plug this sort of silicone feeling holder for the bulb into the housing just to basically weatherproof it. But yeah, I think for now, I'll leave it in there. If nothing else, when you're looking for your friends, having just a little bit of light from a distance can help, even in the daytime, I think. So last argument I guess I would make is that it kind of provides an anchor point for this whole harness as well. So do what you want to do, but I'm going to keep it. So brown onto the one connector, yellow from the blue on the other connector, and those should fit through this dust boot. What's so nice is that we're back to just stock headlight harness plug-in. I can run any 8.7 bulb in here in the future. This is the so-called OSRAM bulb. This comes with a kit because they say that this is the most durable and stands up to off-road use. So now I will plug this all back together, hook up the headlight mask, and give it a test out. So there it is, first test with the light just shining at my garage door. Seems like a reasonable height. I'll have to ride down the street and see what it looks like then. Well, I think it's a success. I think it might be a little bit too high and I can adjust it down a little bit, although I like where it is right now. The people I come upon on the road may not love it though, because it does aim rather high, and I ran out of travel in this slot here for adjusting it downwards. So if the screw is here, I basically run out of space and I can't tip it back. So even with the load on the back, it's gonna get even worse. So I think I'm gonna file this out a little bit. Got this little file here, just gonna removing a little bit of plastic to make that slot longer so that I can tip it backwards. And this is something you can adjust from, outside the bike with the headlight mask all installed. Just stick a screwdriver down in the side and adjust this screw. So I just need a space to be able to do that, and then I can do the final adjustment later on. But little easy mod to do if the light is shining too far up into the sky, or if you want a little bit more light on the road, as I do. Also just courteous to other drivers and riders that you're with. I'm also going to use some thin little washers in the top mounts here to push the top of the light forward. I wanted to be able to actually use the adjuster down here rather than just have it jammed all the way to the end. And this should reset things into the middle of the range, or at least get them closer. So nice and awkward because I'm on camera, but this is how I'm doing it. I'm pretty happy with this conversion for the cost of it and being that easy to install. I think it's definitely a good way to go if you don't want to go all the way to a DC style Baja Designs or Moto 3D style LED light conversion. So definitely a good option. If I have bad experiences with it or really good experiences with it, I'll report back. But so far it looks like it does exactly what it was advertised to do. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful to any of you who have these bikes and you want an easy way to still keep it incandescent, but a lot easier to attain bulb and getting everything you can out of that AC power system. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If you got any questions, definitely put them in the comments down below. I'll also post a link to the various things I used here. And other than that, thanks a lot for watching.